Hey guys, welcome back to Vape City Reviews. This is not a review, and it's not really a clickbaity. Well, sort of is a clickbaity title because I'm not going to do a direct comparison between the Voopoo Vinchi and the Smok RPM40. I haven't had long enough with this to do a sort of full comparison, but there is something I'd like to discuss about these two devices. When I first seen the RPM40, and if you go back and watch my review on this, I was highly disappointed the fact that it wasn't any good for mouth to lung. This whole pod system seems to be. It started off with the Lost Vapor Ran, and when I looked at it, the design, the pods looked great, everything looked sensational, but it was crap. The flavor was crap. The open chamber on the left hand side was crap. The airflow was no good for mouth to lung. It was a very harsh, rough vape. Now the Iran Plus looks extremely good, and that was one of my issues with the original Iran. The open chamber, the open coil style. I didn't like it, and I think that's what was causing the problem with the vape. They've now brought out the Iran Plus, which takes the stock coils. I have that coming from. Where's that coming from? Sourcemore. That's coming from. Hopefully this week I'll have that and we're doing a review on that. But anyway, back to the RPM40. So I've just primed the brand new coil. It's a 1 ohm coil. So the 1 ohm you would expect to be mouth to lung, but again these ports are absolutely wide open. So if I try to take a mouth to lung vape from this now, it's just too airy. Now, some people may like an airy mouth to lung, but for me, even if you like an airy mouth to lung, I just think this is still too airy. If we compare this to the new Tofu RDA, it's a mouth to lung RDA. There's a good tightness to that draw. This is loose. Very open airflow. What this is designed for is this. Direct lung vaping. Now, it does direct lung vaping very well. So let's set that one to the side, and then I seen the Voopoo one, and I went, oh, Voopoo, are they going to put an airflow in? Because again, that's something that you would think would be possible, but they did. They did put an airflow in. Now their airflow was pretty strange. It's actually on the edge of the pod itself. So if you put the pod in one way, it's opened up, and if you put the pod in the other way, it's meant to be closed down. This little part just here is meant to cover up the little holes, which you'll see that I have actually taped over. Um, so it did look like the Voopoo Vinci was going to have a mouth to lung option. One of their coils does say mouth to lung. The point 8 coil does say it has a mouth to lung. It's for mouth to lung. So got the point 8 coil in, stuck some 35 mg Nick salts in, as you do, and tried to take a vape, and it was like this. It was like the Smok RPM40. It still felt wide open. So what I have done is put a little bit of black insulating tape on the inside. It's going to be pretty hard to see there, but on the inside there, it's a little bit of black insulating tape on both sides, and that has basically covered up all of the airflow. Tiny little bit of a hole just in the corner. I thought I would maybe let a wee bit of airflow in, and we'll give you a vape off this now. I've got this at 12 watts. And that helped it so much. But again, even with these three holes taped over, it's still not really tight enough. It's not a tight enough draw. I mean, why could they not? You should be able to shut these airflows off completely. Where if you're sucking in, you're getting nothing. That's the way the device should start, and then the airflow should open out from there. I don't know why these little kits are being brought out as direct lung kits. Yeah, maybe there's a market for smaller size direct lung kits, but for me, the whole pod thing, AIO, these aren't pods, they're AIOs, you can replace the coils. It sort of took a swing in the direct lung, more of a direct lung side of things than the mouth to lung side of things, which what a pod should be. It should be mouth to lung. So if you did pick up the Smok RPM40 and you were disappointed that it wasn't a mouth to lung and you can somehow get rid of it and you were buying the Voopoo Vinchi, I suppose you could do the same with the Smok. You could put some tape across here and some tape across here and shut that airflow down. But the thing is, you shouldn't really have to. It's going to be more noticeable on that than it is on the Voopoo Vinci. Like with this little tape in here, I'll vape this. Will I buy more coils for it? Probably not. Again, it's just not tight enough. It works very well for direct lung vaping, and I have to hand it to them. So does the Smok RPM. They're just not mouth to lung kits, and that's something that I think everybody needs to know. Because at first, when you hear pod or you hear AIO, he's small, stealthy, the first thing you're going to think is, yep, that suits me. I vape mouth to lung. I'll go and purchase one of them. But you're going to be let down by these two products if that's the reason why you're buying them, for a nice tight mouth to lung draw. You can manage a mouth to lung from both of them with some manipulation, but I just don't think you should do that. Or not that you should do it, I don't think you should have to go through that process. The companies should be providing an airflow starting at absolutely zero. Where I mean, if you cover both holes, I can still get a vape with both airflows completely covered, squeezing in really tight. There's still air getting in there somewhere, and to me, that's a problem. I mean, we can do the same thing with the Smok, which doesn't have auto draw. Sorry. So I need to do this, and then I need to hit the button. There's still air getting in there. So for mouth to lung, I do not recommend either the Vinci or the RPM. If you want a restricted direct lung stealthy vape, then yeah, they're very, very good at what they do. Both the Voopoo and the Smok. Can I compare them on flavour? I haven't been using this really long enough. They're probably sitting side by side. Build quality, this is slightly better. With the Smok RPM, you do get the option of that other pod that takes the Nord coil, so that sort of gives it sort of balances the ground a wee bit. They're both probably just as good as each other. But again, guys, not a review, not a sort of comparison, just a bit of information that I think people need to know. Just when you're buying pods like the Vinci or the RPM, check the reviewers out. Not just me. Go through to the other reviewers and see what they're saying. But most people want that true tight mouth to lung draw who are going for a pod system. So check it out before you spend your hard earned cash, because some of these kits, the airiness of the draw is just, it just makes it not enjoyable. You're gonna feel like you've wasted your money, and yeah, that's really all I've got to say on it. Not bad devices. They're not bad devices in the slightest. They do that restricted direct lung very well indeed. Then we coils can work extremely fast. I mean, that's the one ohm coil at 11 watts. Okay. I mean, that's flying at 11 watts, and I can get a really good vape out of that at 11 watts. So they are not bad devices, but they are they are direct lung vapes, not mouth to lung vapes. It's just some information that I think people need to know, because the whole pod thing's starting to take a shift from mouth to lung to direct lung, and I don't see why. Companies should be, if you're going to do it like that, provide mouth to lung style coils at the very minimum. You need to give an airflow control that is at least going to bring it down to nothing. At best, zero airflow, and at a minimum, a tiny bit of airflow at its fully closed position. And that's just the way them kits should be. So yeah, guys, that's it for me. A little sort of mini rant, if you will, or just a little chat about these two kits, because they're very popular at the minute, and lots of people are sort of taking an interest in them. But from my perspective, they're not a mouth to lung kit at all. Neither of them are. The Vinci, you can put a little bit of tape on it, like I've done there around them airflow holes, you can manage a nice mouth along. Still a bit early for my liking, but you can manage a mouth along that, a mouth too long with this if you want to manipulate them airflow holes and you really do want to get your hands on that device. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna stop rabbiting on, guys. That's it for me for this one. Hope you all have a bloody awesome day. Have a good one. Take care and bye. Wee.